My tiny whoop's grooving like a funky jam. I dip through the doorway, spin by the cab, bounce off the toaster, yeah, I meant to do that. Neighbors knocking, saying, what's that sound? It's my brush motor soul train getting down. Flying through the curtain, dancing on breeze, freestyle funk in my living room with ease. Tiny whoop magic, bumping every wall. I'm the James Brown of flight, can't stop it all. I got LED strobes and a shag rug trail. I'm looping through the lava lamp, leaving a tail. My whoop's got rhythm, my stick's got soul. I'm the pilot of the party. On a roll, TV remote's a gate, the lamps a dive. I'm flying like it's 7.5. No GPS, no rules, no shame. Just a funky little quad in a soul train frame. We fly that flow, grab that gap. No time to nap, no time to nap. Hit that roll, funk and control, bounce that wall, we fly it all, we fly it all. Tiny whoop love, funky and free. We fly indoors, we fly with glee. Whoop it, loop it, groove it, move it, bounce it, flip it, funk it, rip it, fly that soul, don't lose control. Tiny whoop love gonna make you whole. I thread the needle through the vinyl stacks, bounce off the mirror ball, never looking back. My quad's got soul, it's got style, it's got sass. It dips through the incense like a glass from the past. I'm flying figure eights through the lava lamp glow, dodging house plants like a funky pro. My whoop's got rhythm, my sticks got heat. I'm the pilot of the party with the grooviest beat. I loop through the hallway, I dive by the broom. I'm the disco ghost in your living room. I hit that split that's over grandma's chair. She just claps and says, boy, you got flair. I'm flying freestyle with a velvet touch. My quad so smooth it don't need a clutch. From the shag rug to the ceiling fan, I'm the funky little fly with a master plan. The curtains dancing on the breeze, freestyle funk in my living room with ease. Tiny whoop magic bumping every wall. I'm the James Brown of flight, can't stop at all. Can't stop at all. Can't stop at all.
Hey friends, my name's Aaron Ciotti, and every single time I live stream, I forget to zoom this camera in a little bit. Kevin Sumner is the voice of God tonight, every Monday night.
Hey folks.
What's up, Kevin? You were just watching... Kevin, say something again?
Something again.
Okay, perfect. You were just watching the Stankalottapuss, which is my frame. It's a working title. I don't know if I'm actually going to call it that. It's a bit... It's a bit much. But you never know. With the Flywoo DJI 04 Light Wide. Yes, that's what it's called. Can we maybe... I don't know.
I mean, generally when I think about wide, I'm thinking that's heavy, not light. Right?
I just, is it just me? Do we have to, can't we name stuff like Stankalottapuss instead? Just name your new camera the Stankpuss. It's fine.
The stanky puss.
The stanky snatch. I don't know, man. Jesus Christ. That's not the full title either. The full title of this camera. Hold on. Let me pull the flight file into the hard drive, because we're gonna run this flight footage through GyroFlow, and we're gonna see what happens with the old school gyro, because the full name of what you were just watching is the Flywoo DJI 04 wide light. We all just call it the light. We're gonna continue to call it the light, with the MP66. I think that's the name of the old school gyro, the better gyro. That's what you were just watching. I gotta be honest, I was flying this a little bit too late. I locked the ISO at 100. I should not have done that. I should have left it either on auto, or at least set it to like 200 or 400. But I can tell the difference between this and the Flywoo 04 wide light. The previous one that we had. Now that I think DJI is making this thing, might also be Runcam. Well, let me take a step back. 6 months ago, Flywoo started offering the 04 light with the wide angle lens. What Flywoo was doing is taking 04 lights, removing the lens assembly, the plastic lens assembly, and then gluing on basically their own lens hood with a I'm pretty sure they were using the 03 DJI lens. I'm also pretty sure that this new DJI one is also using that old school 03 lens. But like, yeah, Flywoo was taking a perfectly good camera apart and then gluing it back together. This new DJI wide, 04 wide, I don't think that's what's happening. Maybe it is. Maybe, I don't know. But like all of a sudden now it's not called Flywoo, it's called the DJI 04 wide. So in theory, DJI is doing this. It is their lens, right? Like the 04 light is their lens. The housing looks exactly like the Flywoo housing, but it's ever so slightly bigger. Maybe so that they don't get sued. I don't know. But what I can tell you is that this is gorgeous. And it's not just me. Mads Tech mentioned that as well. The DJI version of the 04 light wide absolutely looks a little bit better than the Flywoo version, which would make an awful lot of sense, because we know that Flywoo was removing the lens and then gluing the lens. Look, when you do that, so there's I think it's not called focal distance. I forget what it's called. I've been out of the photography world for so long, but the distance between the back of the lens and the sensor is really, really important. And if you're gonna remove the lens and then just glue on another lens with housing, like, you're not gonna get that distance absolutely perfect. If with this new one, DJI is just manufacturing it properly, right? That sensor to back of lens distance is going to be absolutely perfect, and that could absolutely explain why this looks better. And this looks amazing. I'm scrolling through the video here to try to find somewhere that has not acres of motion blur. Because since I had the ISO set really low, this thing was at 1/60th of a second the entire time, which is going to be mega motion blur on a fast rig like this. We're going to talk about the build in a second. But here you go. Like this in here. This is really sharp. I'm zooming like crazy on that. Like, this is really, really, really sharp in here. Let me let it play. Ooh. Yeah. There's a moment. There's a moment when I do that big pop-up and then look straight down, where it'll pause, and there will be zero motion blur. Where is that? Where do I do that? Is it here? It might be right here. Nope. Look at this throw, man. This is the Stankalottapuss. This is my 3-inch frame that's about, I think, like 210 grams set up like this. This is with a 4S 850 on it. It's a high volt 850. This has gnarly motors, these Spinny Boy motors from Oddity RC. They are 1504 4800 kV, and then I've got these awesome HQ 3-inch props. I think they're 3 by 2.5 by 3. Big power. This thing feels like a 5-inch rig flying around the neighborhood here. Like the flight characteristics, the throw, the float. Like it's just beautifully well balanced. There's a moment. All right, so that will be perfectly crisp in there when it slows down a little bit. Yeah, this is wild. There's still a bunch of motion blur. 1/60th of a second creates an awful lot of motion blur, but hopefully, I mean, the YouTube hammers the quality on these live streams so bad that I doubt that it's kind of coming through, but just trust me on this. Looking at this on the monitor, there's probably a moment there where it slows down enough. Let's see. So exposes for the ground. Yeah, there's still lots and lots and lots of motion blur. But yeah, this DJI version is definitely a little bit better than the Flywoo version. If you can get your hands on the Flywoo version, don't buy it because you can't get the ND filters anymore. No, actually buy it because Rotor Village in Canada still does have the ND filter set. And it's a phenomenal camera. Look. If you can get it cheap, I'm going to definitely specify that. If you can get the Flywoo specific DJI 04 wide for cheap, snag it. It's really, really, really good. But if it's not cheap, buy this DJI one. I am really, really, really happy with this. This thing is super impressive. And yeah, it worked right out of the box. You know what's funny is they must be testing them, because I kept trying to activate the damn thing and it wouldn't activate because it was already activated. So when I'm guessing that when they swap the gyro out, they want to fire it up to make sure it works, and so they have to activate it, which is actually kind of nice because now it's not registered to me. So God forbid, like, you know, something weird happens with it. It's not registered to me. It's not mine. I found it in the fucking woods. So yeah. It's kind of funny. But yeah, it was nice right out of the box. It was like good to go. It's also updated. Like I spent all this time plugging it in to update it and trying to activate it. I didn't have to do any of that shit. I could have just literally plugged it in and gone with it, bind it and go. It was updated. It was registered. So really, really cool. That flight footage is copying to the desktop right now. We're going to throw that into GyroFlow, and we're going to see how that old school gyro does. It should be really good. The Land Here shirt, reminding you to land on your transmitter, is still available on my Etsy store, which is linked on CiottiFPV.com. There are still 2 or 3 or 4 of each size. There are still 5 smalls. If you know someone that wears a small and wants this shirt, I'll give them a discount. I'll throw something into the order. But yeah, there's like 5 smalls. I think there's 3 mediums left, 3 larges, 3 extra larges, and I believe there's 3 2Xs as well. So get these while you can, and yeah, you can both walk around in public with a lewd statement on your shirt, an arrow, and then when you fly, you'll have a nice reminder of where you should be landing. Only land on your transmitter with small stuff. If you do that with bigger stuff, it's on you. I'm not responsible. If you want to support me because you like these live streams and would like to see them continue, join my Patreon. It's the absolute best way that you can hook a brother up, and you get a ton of benefits too. You get an private YouTube playlist with like 120 plus unreleased either sketchy flying or like Patreon only live streams. Cool, fun, extra stuff for you guys. Rough cuts. There's actually a bunch of edits on there that I never finished. So like there's fresh content on there for a lot of people. You're going to get full access to my Discord. And full access to the Patreon itself. There's a bunch of tech articles. There's a whole bunch of Google Docs spreadsheets with like weights and tests that I've done and like RPMs for different motors, all kinds of really, really good stuff. The weights spreadsheet has like over 100 different component weights, tons and tons of propellers from 1.2 inch all the way up to 7 inch, I believe. You get all that for the low price of $3 a month, which is like 10 cents a day or 20 cents a live stream for the time being that I'm live streaming 4 times a week. So yeah, jump onto the Patreon. It's the best. In the chat, there are people. I don't know who those people are because I forgot to launch Social Stream, but it's coming up now. Where you at, Social Stream, you son of a bitch? All right, it's coming up. Here it goes. The menu is all screwed up. I have to click into the void to get it to work. Live chat, there we go. Okay, now I can shut this off because YouTube's memory leak trashes this computer, and we're back. In the chat, Level Up FPV is first, Spaceman Spiff, B. Kirk, Kevin Sumner, Phil Bradley. Oh, okay, thanks, YouTube. It scrolled me to the bottom already. Oh my god, it scrolled me to the bottom again. Stop it. You can FP... Oh my god, it's scrolling me to the bottom constantly.
Social Stream is doing that to me tonight.
Social Stream is just...
Yeah, but that, to be fair, Social
lately.
Stream loads YouTube's janky JavaScript to be able to scrape, so I'm going to continue to blame YouTube.
It's a fair bet to blame YouTube. I'm going to pop the chat out of YouTube because if there's any way for me not to have it scrolling to the bottom like that, it's going to be really, really nice. All right, let's try this again. You can have PV, Frank, Dr. Nicholas, Hey Ryan, Philip, Mupshot, Levster, Mr. Clean, Uriel. Woo! I'm just gonna call you Steven because my just broken 45-year-old brain can't handle the rest of that. Steven is in the chat. Mupshot, Philip, Metal Dirtskin, Render, Mike K, Hey Ryan again, DeGhoul, Render Metal, Ryan Sadat. Type at CiottiFPV if you want me to read your name. Boy, I'm struggling tonight. We're gonna be all right though. We're gonna be okay. It's gonna be fine. Type at CiottiFPV if you want to talk directly to me. Go to CiottiFPV.com to support me so I can keep doing this. I would love to keep doing this. Mupshot says your neighbor's cool with you flying. Some of mine are vocally okay about it. I don't know about the others. Yes, I've talked to pretty much all the neighbors. I typically fly small, super safe, super quiet stuff. Oh, that's done copying? Awesome. This... Okay, why won't that come unplugged? What? That's a problem. Jesus Christ. This is bordering on a bit much. If I built this out with lower KV and or smaller motors, it might be fine, but at the moment this thing is a bit much. I'm not gonna make a habit out of blasting this around the neighborhood. Again, this is like 210 to 220 grams all up, depending on what battery is on it. That is enough weight, and this makes enough power to go fast enough, essentially, to really do some damage to somebody's car, which is one of the biggest things. Like, when I fly out front, I can hear everything. This is a very quiet neighborhood. I can hear cars like 2 turns away, and so I always know if a car is going to be coming onto our dead-end street, which is also super helpful, right? Like, no through traffic. The cul-de-sac is right, like, 1 house to the left. And so this is a super quiet neighborhood. But there are cars parked in the street almost all the time. And the last thing I want is to, like, fly a little bit too low to the ground, catch an arm, and have this thing tumble into the side of somebody's car and leave a big old dent. Because bodywork is expensive. And I'm pretty sure that this is big and heavy enough to leave a pretty decent dent in a car. I have hit the roof on my Mazda 2 twice with similar weight builds like this, and it's left pretty gnarly marks that could probably come out with paintless dent repair, but it scratched the paint deep enough where, like, you know, if it happens to not you, they're gonna want you to repaint it, right? Which is really expensive, obviously. So yeah, this will not be a super common neighborhood flyer, but I am certainly going to fly a bunch of batteries with this during the day when there aren't cars. I flew that battery that you were watching in the intro tonight because I just got this thing finished up, and I just had to get it up in the air. But yeah, moving forward, when I fly sketchy stuff out in front of the house, I do it before like 3 or 4 o'clock, because 3 or 4 o'clock people start coming home. At noon, it's a fucking ghost town in this neighborhood. There's no cars in the street, nobody is around. That's when I was like ripping the 7-inch up and down the street and shit when I was testing a couple different props. I don't make a habit out of that either, but so yeah, it's super safe. And yeah, like I said, I've talked to pretty much all the neighbors. They absolutely love it. They love what I do. They're fascinated by it. And so yeah, like the kids across the street like freak out and like, oh, why are the drones back? Ah! So it's super cool. Everybody's super cool with it. But be careful, because all it takes is one. We had a regular in chat forever ago. Their name escapes me at the moment, but they had to go to court over flying a fucking toothpick around their neighborhood. And they were on a dead-end street as well. It was just one asshole neighbor who made it a personal vendetta to call the cops over and over and over again. And it turned into like a really nasty thing because, people are horrible and they walk amongst us. And so, unfortunately, we have to just understand that an insane percentage of people, especially in the US, are just awful monsters, and so you got to be careful of that kind of shit. Mupshot is absolutely right in asking if your neighbors are cool with me flying. But yeah, the other thing is you should absolutely not be flying loud shit out in front of your house, no matter how cool your neighbors are. If you're blasting a 5-inch rig like a couple times a week out in front of your house, like that's not cool. Like you gotta fly things that are safe enough and quiet enough in areas that people live, right? Like they don't want to fucking listen to a 5-inch rig sitting on their back patio trying to relax. You know what I mean? Like if that was you and somebody was like railing a 125cc dirt bike up and down the street over and over and over and over again for weeks and months and years, you would, put spike strips out or hit them with a hammer. You can't tell me you wouldn't. You liar, don't lie to me. You can lie to yourself, don't lie to me. Mike K says, evening everyone. Mupshot says, you both sound great. Awesome. Mike K tagged me. Oh, he says, what size frame is the Stinky Puss? 3-inch. It is a 3-inch Squished X geometry with not much of an ass. It's got a little tiny ass on it. This frame was designed for 20x20 stack mounting analog. Ryan Harrell, who did the bulk of the design, browbeat me into putting 25x25 mounting on it, and thank God he did, because we did this frame design like 5 years ago. Nowadays, you put a 2 to 4S 25x25 AIO on the bottom and DJI 04 wide on top, and it fits absolutely perfect with, I forgot to mention this, so when you buy this, you get 2 of these back plates for the camera. This back plate is much wider than the other back plate that it comes with. The other back plate that it comes with fits perfectly. Like, this was so easy to get this camera mounted. There's tons of room, and not tons of room, but there's just enough room in the back. It is so goddamn good. Like, this came out so perfect. I was like rushing to put this together, but once I got it in here, like, oh man, this is just, there's just enough clearance. It's a split base plate setup. The preferred setup is a 23 millimeter standoff on the front, which you can get everywhere thanks to Kebab. The glide frame was where we got 23 millimeter standoffs from, and now you can get them pretty much anywhere. I always get them from Pyrodrone. And then 18s in the back. So the arms are 3 millimeters thick, and then the split base plate part that adds thickness is 2 millimeters. So you got 3 plus 2, it's a 5 millimeter difference. So you could do 15s in the back and 20s in the front. This is the setup that works for a double stack, which is 18s in the back, 23s in the front. Unfortunately, the 18s are a little bit rare. I have 100 of them, and I do know where I can order more. And so at some point when I figure out how to sell this frame, it will include the 23 and the 18, because that's really like, it's slammed enough where you could put a 20 by 20 stack, or even just an analog, just an AIO, and run it analog, and you'll have plenty of room for the camera, but it's also tall enough for the double stack. And so like the 18 rear, 23 front is like the one size fits all setup. It'll work with pretty much anything, but you can go bigger and smaller. You could even go one step up to a 20 in the back, 25 in the front. And then for some reason, if you have a really tall camera, you could do 28 in the front and 23 in the back. These are all standoffs that are available, other than the 18. I mean, the 18s are available, but they're not available on like FPV websites. The other sizes I mentioned, 28, 25, 23, 20, and 15, those are all totally readily available on FPV shops like Pyrodrone, Get FPV, Newbie Drone. And yeah, I had to do that, had to be a part of this frame design, because the whole like, oh, I'll just have 19 millimeter standoffs cut for it, like that's you know, that's rough. Like, don't get me wrong, the Grinderino is a brilliant frame, but the fact that there's a 19 millimeter standoff on there, like you can only get that 19 mil standoff from Amagod. If he ever stops selling it, like, you're kind of assed out. And so yeah, I had to make sure that there were super available standoffs for it so that you could run the thing forever, because I've got frames and I've got parts that from like 7, 8, 9, 10 years ago that I can't use anymore. Either like the wiring diagram is gone forever, or there's some weird thing about it that you can't get anymore. You know, one of the things I really hate about frames that have the vertical carbon fiber camera plates up front is that, I mean, the big thing I don't like is that it forces you to run a specific deck height. You can't change the deck height. But the other thing that's rough is, like, God forbid you can't get those camera plates again, you're screwed. You can't run the frame anymore. I guess the same could be said for the top plate and the bottom plate and the arms and stuff, but like, yeah, just in general, I tried to make this as sort of universal as possible so that if 10 years from now somebody wants to fly this, they'll be able to, hopefully. But yeah, this built out really, really nice. I had the old school 04 in there, and it was flyable, but this has power. I mean, these motors are a little bit too big. I think a 1404 is a better bet for this. These aren't 1504s. These are 1405s. This is big. When you get an extra millimeter of stator height, when you go from 1404 to 1405, that makes a lot more power. When you go from 1404 to 1504, it makes a little bit more power and it stays a little bit cooler. But a 1405 is a really powerful motor. And then the 4800 kV is a lot. That's also probably a little bit too much. And so I wouldn't necessarily recommend building it this hot, but this is fun. And that battery and so I've had the regular 04 light on this thing for a few months. I flew it on a couple of vacations now. I've flown it in front of the house a bunch, and it was very fun. But with the amount of power that this thing has, when you lose field of view, well, so the 04 light, thank God, is 4x3. So we get a really nice amount of vertical field of view. So this is the main reason that 16x9 sucks, because 16x9 sensors, they don't give you as much vertical field of view as 4x3. And then you have this extra width that's kind of worthless, right? Like, we don't really need that extra width left and right. We need more vertical field of view, because like if we put the nose down and we want to go really fast, we got to be able to see where we're going. Or if we want to put the brakes on and we pull the nose up, we want to be able to see what the hell's in front of us, right? And so thank God that the 04 Lite is 4x3, but the regular 04, should we start calling it the 04 narrow? I think I'm going to start calling it the 04
Yes.
narrow. Yeah, right. So the 04 narrow, you lose field of view. You lose horizontal and vertical field of view. It's absolutely flyable, but when you put the nose down to go really fast, you'll just be looking straight into the ground, and that's uncomfortable. Or same deal, when you put the nose up to slow down, you just got all sky. And so fast builds like this, and also like really dynamic builds, right? This sort of a freestyle build, and 5-inch rigs, you know, like rigs that look like this, right? Like school bus style rigs that are specifically meant to just blast and like bando bash and rip around the neighborhood and throw it around trees and all that. These builds are really dynamic in that like you can go really slow and really smooth, or you can absolutely blast and go 80 miles an hour. And with that, like really that ability to fly them super dynamically comes a need for as much vertical field of view as possible. And so with the 04 narrow, you can't put, there's sort of guardrails on you. And like, sure, you can just look straight at the ground, hammer the throttle, get it going really fast, but there's a discomfort almost to doing that. You don't like fully settle in and relax and just fly. It feels like you're flying a drone, kind of like the whole time. And like in thinking about that for the last couple of hours, it strikes me like this is something that happens with analog too. Like analog having super low latency, and pretty much all of the analog cameras have very wide field of view. Analog gives us, also HD0, it gives us more of a connection, and it allows us to more like settle in and just forget that we're flying a drone, forget that we're on the thumbsticks, and just move our eyeballs around in three-dimensional space. And like when you start pushing really hard and trying to like, you know, throw the damn thing 200 feet up over your house without accidentally bashing through one of the windows, that shit starts to matter, right? Like when you start to push yourself to your limit, it becomes really important that you're totally comfortable. And like, if you're not going to get to the limit. You're never going to get to 10/10. You're always going to be backed off a little bit. And that's what this was. With the 04 narrow, it was still fun to fly, and I was still able to like get some half decent flight footage from it, but I couldn't get it to like that next level of like, this just feels natural. I can really push this thing hard. I meant to fly 3 batteries on this today. I charged 3 batteries for this. And so I put the first battery on it, which was the 4S 850 high volt, which I didn't charge to high volt. And that battery doesn't fit all that well on this top plate. It's a little too long. It's the high volt version of the 4S 850, so it's the long, thin one. I don't like it. I just have one of them. I like the more squared off 4S 850s, and they fit perfect on it. Where is it? Here it is. So this is the battery that I'm talking about. It's a little bit too long. It's a great battery, but it's just a little too long. This is the size. This is like the 4S 850 size. It's more squared off than really long, right? And so the regular 4S 850 fits perfect on the top plate. This one does not. And so it sits kind of, I can get it flatter than this, but it just kind of sits at a little bit of an angle here. And so I put it on there. I was like, I just want to fly it though. And I'm like, okay, it's kind of sitting on the top plate janky. I'm just going to chill. and I'm just gonna run this battery. I'm gonna go full throttle a couple times, see what kind of RPM it does. Just gonna chill for this battery. Within about 30 seconds, I'm just hammering this thing around, just like shooting small gaps and throwing it all over the place and just absolutely going for it because it felt right. The field of view was big and wide and crystal clear. The light was really good, which always makes me do dumb shit. Like whenever the light's really good, I'm just like, oh, this looks so cool. I got to get it in. And I started crashing it, and I actually beat it up pretty good. Like this, like, it took a couple really big hits, which was kind of sketchy because the battery wasn't sitting flat, and I didn't have the battery wire under the battery strap like I like it. And so after like the second really hard hit, I was like, I like kind of remembered that the battery was on. I was like, let me just go out and grab it. And then I grabbed it, and the props were all banged up. I was like, you know what? This is fine for the day. I'm gonna go for a walk. And so that right there, like when a build makes you completely forget within 30 seconds that the whole point was just to chill and like not smash the shit out of it because the battery might fall off of it. It wouldn't have fallen off. It was strapped down hard, but it was sitting all cockeyed, right? And the battery wire was all like close to the props and shit. That's a good thing. That's a good build. That is a build that everything is kind of working together. It's got good response time so that the PID loop is happy and you don't have prop wash all over the place. It's gonna have a normal like hover point and or cruising throttle point. It's not like really high, it's not really low, where it's like kind of weird and it's always reminding you like, hey, this is weird. It's got really good power. Power to rate ratio is within like a normal, reasonable margin, right? If it has too little, you're going to be uncomfortable. If it has way too much, you're going to be uncomfortable. This is approaching way too much. This makes pretty serious power. I think I might have it motor limited down a little bit though, but yeah, this thing is a weapon right now, and I'm so happy, man. The only thing that I'm not happy with about this build is, oddly enough, the AIO, the HD0 Gamma AIO. I think it's going to be really durable, but it just doesn't have black box. Luckily, my frame seems to be strong enough, and it doesn't seem to have any weird resonant issues that shouldn't need black box. But still, like it's annoying as hell.
You not have an open logger?
Yeah, I could probably squeeze one of those in here, but I won't. Like I did the other build that I built with analog and smashed it 1,000 times until I broke it. That one did have black box on board, and I took a couple logs and they looked really, really clean. Like I mentioned earlier, Ryan Harrell did the frame design, and Ryan has done probably by this point over 20, maybe even over 30 different Lumineer Get FPV frames. So he knows what he's doing, and he's a great guy. And so yeah, the frame is like ready to go. I'm putting more and more. I broke the one finally. This one I'm starting to crash more. But yeah, I just need to find the time to figure out how to get it, who to cut it, how to handle all that. And yeah, I'm hoping to have all that done by the end of the year so I can maybe get this into people's hands for Christmas time. But I'm super happy with this, man. This the last missing piece was this camera. I'd been, like I said, I've been flying this for a while, and like it was very fun, but it wasn't quite there. And it was the field of view. Like the 04 Narrow is phenomenal on the RC drift car chasing rig, and on the 2S 1.6 inch Module 7 V3 framed build, and the 2-inch version of this build with ducts. But when you put that 04 Narrow onto faster builds, open prop, but more specifically open prop bigger, right? 3-inch big power builds, that lack of field of view really starts to make it a little bit uncomfortable because, like I said, these builds, you want to go fast. And if you want to go fast with it, you're going to have to stare at the ground, or you're going to have to run like 40 degrees of camera up tilt. And then that's not comfortable either because it's like a different up tilt than you're used to. And when you, God forbid, you want to slow down, you're going to be staring up at the sky. And so, yeah, these 04 wides are the truth, the absolute truth. And I cannot wait to fly this a little bit more tomorrow. This is just absurd. These motors are too much, but they're very fun for the time being. So I'm going to leave them on for a minute. I have some other motor plans for this rig, but I think this is going to end up on T-Motor 1404 4600s because those are like the god motor for 3-inch rigs. They're just big enough, but not too big. 4600 kV is the perfect kV for 4S. They're made by T-Motor, so they're awesome quality. They're just like, they're a great motor. It's been around a long time, and they just kick ass. And I think they would be a more balanced setup for this. These 1405s need to be on a 250 plus gram build. 270, 280, 290 grams all up would be perfect for these motors. This guy is like between 210 and 220, and that's just a little bit too light for these. But what's interesting is at this weight, the float is very 5-inch. Earlier in the stream, I said like this thing flies like a 5-inch, which like I always joke about. Like as it was coming out of my mouth earlier, I was like, "Oh, you dickbag! Don't say that." But it's true. Like there's a ratio between of the weight, the all-up weight, to the size of the propellers. That if you want to be fancy is loosely called disc loading. Don't worry about that. It's the ratio of the weight to how big the propellers are. The propellers are always spinning, right? And so they're always displacing air. So when you think about the aerodynamics of this thing, you want to think about the propellers as solid circles, because they are. But they're actually even more than that. Because they're always spinning, they're always sending a column of thrust downwards, and they're always pulling air from upwards. So like when you look at a build, its actual like aerodynamic footprint in the air is much bigger. It's more like a box. Like it's going to be like from my thumb to my middle finger here, all the way around, because all 4 motors are always spinning. And then in this direction, it's definitely like that, right? Because it's the propellers. It's tip to tip on the propellers, just for a little bit, just to see how it feels. And then in this dimension, it's like that as well, right? And so this craft is displacing aerodynamically like this brick, this cube almost of air. And so when you couple that with the weight, that is going to be the float. The best word I think for that is float, because every time you come off the throttle, you're now in floatville. Also, it has a lot to do with the throw, right? Float is like when you're off throttle, how slowly does it come down? Doesn't matter if it's inverted or sideways or whatever. Like if it's right side up, yeah, it's going to come down a little slower because it's actively sending thrust downwards. But sideways, front down, and even fully inverted, it's displacing that area of air. And so that's the float. And then, of course, the throw is your zero throttle. How long does it continue to hurl? And so, obviously, the throw is not going to be quite the same as a 5-inch rig because of the massive weight that a 5-inch build has. But the ratio of weight to prop size on this is actually really, really nice. And it reminds me a lot of the pacing, the timing of when you take a 5-inch build, send it to the heavens, and then snap it and leave it zero throttle. That float is really, really, really similar on this thing at like 220 or so grams, because this is one of my heavier batteries for it that I was running, with the 3-inch props. What's interesting is that I typically like 3-inch rigs to be 250, 260 grams because of the throw and because of this momentum. And that you get a little bit less float when you do that, but you get more ability to throw the thing over trees. There was like one moment in the flight footage where you can straight see that. Like you can see it run out of momentum for going up over a tree. I'm trying to pull the file up, but something has happened to this computer and it is really struggling. There it goes. So let me let this play here, and I'm going to see if I can find that moment. But it's basically a moment where I thought I was going to be able to throw it over a tree, and it just didn't make it. And so there, you know, if you wanted to try to find that middle ground, I think it would be like 240, maybe right on 250. This is built to be light. This is built to crash and thrash and bash, and not have a big fat butt that you can put a huge 20 by 20 AIO in. There are other frames that have that. The Quadmula Siren F3 is a perfect option if you want a 260 gram 3-inch rig. The Grinderino is another option, but that's even heavier and more for 3.5-inch stuff. I think there's a 3-inch Volador, which is apparently pretty good. So there are frames out there. This is something that's a little bit unique, and it's going to build out to be a little bit lighter weight. And so you're going to sacrifice a little bit of the throw. It might be one of these. See, that almost didn't make it, but it did. I think it was this next one, maybe. But yeah, in terms of like flight characteristics, that's something that I'm always kind of paying attention to because I love spending time at zero throttle. I try to spend as much time at zero throttle as I possibly can. I love just like gravity's impact on these things. And I just think it looks great when you get a throw really clean and just sit zero throttle all the way down to the ground and then blip the throttle and bring it on back. I feel like I might have missed the moment, but just take my word for it. There was a moment where it didn't quite throw as far as I wanted to. I wanted it to, but again, that the floatiness of this thing is really nice. It's got like when you throw it up and then you look down, it's just got this moment where it just like very slowly crests its apex and then very slowly starts to come back down. When you add like 30 or 40 grams to a 3-inch rig, it's more like kind of that. Whereas like with a 5-inch build, it has this same like really cool, gentle, like there's almost like a full second of like total weightlessness right at the top. And it's just this moment where like everything kind of slows down and you're just like, oh, like, and for me, every time it's just like, oh, especially if you get it just right. Like I do this move a lot where like I'll be going forward and I nose up, hammer the throttle, and like I'll hammer the throttle when it's like this. So it's traveling forward, bunch of forward momentum. You pitch it back, you get here, hammer the throttle. If you get it just right, it'll kill the forward momentum and just throw itself straight up. And then you throw yourself straight up and you just look straight down. And you just let it sit. And just don't touch anything. And if you get it just right, it'll go perfectly up and then perfectly back down. And it is just the most satisfying thing in the world. And the one of those that I did a couple hours ago with this, just in that moment, in that little like 1 second weightlessness, I was like, oh, there it is. And when I was talking you through it, when I was playing it earlier in the live stream, that's why I said that. That's why I said like it flies a lot. It feels a lot like a 5-inch build. So don't. This is me, trying not to be a hypocrite because I hate when people say that. I hate that I said it. But it's interesting when you can get that out of what I think we should be saying instead of flies like a 5-inch is flies really good, because that's what we're saying, right? Like 5-inch builds have had 90+% probably of the R&D cycle of all of FPV, right? Thousands and thousands and thousands of people have been R&Ding 5-inch rigs by flying them and by sharing their experience and sharing their flight footage. And so 5-inch builds fly the best, hands down, no questions asked. You can tell because there are really talented pilots that will fly a 5-inch build through gaps that are like a fucking inch bigger than the wingspan of the goddamn craft. And that's ridiculous. Like, that should be a gap that you're only going to shoot with something smaller so that you have more of a margin of error. But like, the damn things fly so good that you can fly really small spots, medium spots, or really big spots with them. And so when we say that, what we're saying is that it flies really good, and that's kind of what I was saying. But still, it's yeah, it's magic when you get a micro like really all the way dialed in. It is a special kind of magic. Kevin, have you experienced this? Do you have any 3-inch rigs that you've gotten like really dialed in, or you've gotten really used to?
Super funny that you mentioned that. So yesterday, I was out flying with Shelby and Reedy, and Shelby Shelby flew my Rip Squeak build that I showed on stream, or that I dropped in Rip My Rig or whatever it is, last week, and he's like, he gets off the goggles and he's like, "Oh my god, this feels so good." It's like, I know it's really good because it just dropped into flow immediately. There was no like adjusting to it or anything. You just straight in. And yeah, that was like, it took me 2 years of changing out motors and finding the right props and changing KV on motors and finding the right battery and switching from stacks to AIOs, switching out video systems. Like, it's all of these different little variables. And right, like, I really liked those rigs at 260 grams, but they were just at 240. So good.
Right.
And I have two of them, and one of them has slightly lower up tilt than the other one. I've got the blue one that's got the blue TPU, and I've got the green one that's got the green TPU, and the green one has slightly lower up tilt, and they fly just ever so slightly differently. But both of them are just like, they just feel so good. They throw, and they stay float. They're like just floaty enough. They're not toothpick floaty, because I think you and I agree.
Yeah.
Toothpick floaty is too floaty.
Bit too much.
Yeah.
Too much.
Yeah. That's it. And that's why I've been continued to fly these rigs for so very long.
Love it. So I just put the flight footage into GyroFlow, and GyroFlow says file format was detected, but no motion data was found. The camera probably doesn't record motion data in this particular shooting mode. So either I had one of the settings wrong, or, which I don't think, because I think I had it set right, or there's not a lens profile for this yet, because a warning came up about the lens profile first. So that's a bit alarming. What are those 3 things again? So you have to have rock steady off, you have to be in wide mode. There's a third thing that you have to do to make sure you can use GyroFlow.
Jamie is in the chat, and she has been putting together some software to help with the gyro issues on the affected models. Have you seen this?
Hell yeah, she has.
She may actually be able to tell us immediately if she's still around. There she is. She says, chill, full throttle. Okay, wide angle, rock steady off. I think that's it. Search DJI wide and a profile will come up.
I thought there was a third thing. 4x3, 4K 60, normal FOV. There's no... Oh, fuck me. What? Why is it giving me a wide option? Hold on. It's not changing anything. Hold on. Yeah, no, the wide... That's weird. Why is it giving me the wide option in the deeper menu here? It gives me the FOV option for normal and wide, but it doesn't change anything.
4x3, she says, yeah.
Yeah, so it's on 4x3. Wide, doesn't really matter. Recording stabilization off. ISO limit 6400. Advanced camera session. Record camera view recording. Auto record on takeoff. No. Color normal. So I can't change.
Jamie confirms. Yeah, it doesn't change the view in the goggles.
Sharpness -1. Let's fix the 0 to -1. I should say. Anti-flicker auto. What the hell?
Yep. But wide normal does change the recorded view.
Oh, does it? Okay. So I guess I had it on normal and I need to have it on wide.
Yes.
So that's the third
wide
thing.
angle.
That's
wide angle and right steady off. And normal omits data.
Brightness 2, screen masking on, canvas mode. Yeah, I forgot to go to the deeper menu. That's annoying when you pull the menu up from the bottom and you go to camera F. Oh, it does give you the option. Never mind. So I just didn't notice it. That's my bad. Okay. Well, we can't check out GyroFlow today, but we absolutely will on Whoop Wednesday this week. We'll take a minute to dive into this guy. Let me actually just confirm that wide is what we need. I'm 99% sure, but all I have to do is plug in any one of these other rigs that I've been using, that I've been running through GyroFlow to just like confirm that. So hold on 1 second. Let me just kick these goggles back on. That's super annoying. I was really looking forward to putting it into GyroFlow. We'll have to do it tomorrow though. Okay, so coming up, and come on. Here it comes. Okay, there it is. Yeah, wide. Yeah, you gotta have it in wide. Okay. So tomorrow I will have, hey, on the Patreon Hangout Discord channel, I will put some GyroFlow stabilized flight footage from this thing tomorrow. So if you don't want to wait until Wednesday to see it, you can see it tomorrow. And it'll also allow you to support a gangly motherfucker trying to do something cool in a world that doesn't really support doing things that are cool a lot of times. So yeah. Oh, that's actually kind of nice. I can't believe that this flight footage was in normal and instead of wide. That's crazy. I can't wait to see what it looks like in actual wide mode. But yeah, holy shit. The DJI 04 wide is extremely impressive. Especially with the work that Jamie is doing, you don't have to do the Flywoo one with the different gyro chip. On one hand, it's only an extra $20, but on the other hand, like, yeah, you got a company taking a product and then using a hot air station to remove a gyro and then put a different gyro on there. And so, like, you're just opening yourself up to problems. At the moment, it's really, really nice, but we're probably going to have a solution to the other gyro before we know it here. So I don't think that's a deal breaker. If you can find a DJI 04 wide in stock, I haven't seen them being sold by anyone quite yet. But I will probably snag one as soon as I see it.
I saw them on Newbie Drone just a second ago.
Really good. No shit. Ooh.
Looking at new products. Hang on.
Let's see.
DJI 04 plus a Flywoo wide. You're looking for
I wonder if they're going to keep calling it Flywoo wide. I can't believe it's like I couldn't even find it on DJI's website. It has to be there, but I couldn't find it.
Link going in the chat. Hold on.
So here it is on the Flywoo website, and I mean, $150 I think is what it's just going to cost. Although it is sold out. Okay, never mind.
It's $170 on Newbie Drone.
170. Oof. So Newbie Drone has it. That's pretty cool. There it is. Sweet, and it's in stock. Wide only lens and filter set. You might as well get the filter set. You're gonna want them. Oh, well, I'm looking at just the filter set, and this is the wrong filter set.
Drop the link in chat.
Looks like it's also on GetBRC, and there's a link on chat. Hit the link in chat, friends. Here it is on GetBRC's website. $160. You might as well order it from Flywoo. No, you might as well not because it's not in stock. It's in stock in GetBRC. Or Newbie Drone for $170. So yeah, super impressed, super impressed, and really happy with this. I'd said that I was probably not going to leave this in this build. I think I might. it's
made
just,
yourself a liar.
Yeah, it fits perfect in here. And I want to fly this more. I want to fly my frame as much as possible, and so I want to have a camera in it that that is as good as possible. Oh, I got distracted halfway through the conversation that we were having about like really connecting with what you're flying, in reference to analog versus digital. Analog, we feel very connected because super low latency, and the cameras are all fairly wide field of view. The problem with analog, and where we might not feel super connected, is that we can't see where the fuck we're going a lot of the time. Either because it just looks like shit because it's 640 by 480, and or because we're going behind shit and it's starting to break up. What's interesting, though, is that I feel like the analog breakup in some ways makes us more comfortable because it's immediately telling us like, yo, you're getting towards the end of your range, time to turn around, think about turning around. The offset of that is that you can't see where you're going, but like, it's interesting. I think those two things maybe kind of even out. And I've always felt like when I'm flying analog, there's just more of a connection. I'm more comfortable. It feels more right. That could totally be because I've been flying FPV for over 10 years. And many of those, the majority of those years were spent flying analog. That could absolutely be the case. But when we go over to digital, there was a massive change in latency, right? Around 20 additional milliseconds of latency. It's not the end of the world, but that's never going to make the feeling of connection between you and the craft better, right? And so there's always going to be, and there has always been, a disconnect when I go from, I don't notice it if I just start like if I just go upstairs for the first time of the day and fly a bunch of HD batteries, I don't necessarily notice it. Where I notice it is when I fly a bunch of analog batteries and then I fly a bunch of digital batteries. And I get over it pretty quick. It's like that first HD battery that I fly, like I'll notice the latency, and it's not like, I can't fly this. It's just like, oh yeah, there it is, but I can see where I'm going. And so then that's the really nice thing about digital HD builds, right? Is that we can see where we're going, and that like makes us feel more comfortable. But I have never really felt as comfortable with a digital build as an analog build. And I think today was about as close as I've ever gotten to that. And in fairness, I did not fly a bunch of analog batteries and then fly this. If I did that, that would probably not be the case. But just like flying this today felt really, it's one of the more connected moments that I've had between me and an HD build. And that's really cool. And I'm sure it's because it's lighter, and it's, you know, it's not like super sketchy in the neighborhood. Like I've flown the Siren F3 and the Siren A F35 pretty hard around the neighborhood in the middle of the day when nobody's around. But it's still, you know, those are like 250 plus grams. Those are big bastards, and they're loud and they're crazy. This is noticeably smaller and lighter and quieter. And so I'm sure that had something to do with it. I was also just excited to fly it, to be honest, right? Like if you're looking forward to flying something, or you're just feeling good and excited to fly, that's gonna, you know, right? It's all happening in our brain, and so like all these things are connected. Yeah, the power to weight ratio is great. The flight performance is awesome. The fucking thing would not prop wash. There was a couple moments where like I let it go real low throttle into its own wash, and it didn't even like think about it was just dialed, man. So yeah, that was pretty cool. That was a hell of a battery that I flew earlier. I was really just in it, which doesn't happen all the time. Like I tend to be a kind of hit or miss pilot. I'll have days that I'm every once in a while I'll have a day where I'm feeling really good, but most days it's like, yeah, I'm not flying so great today. And so yeah, that was pretty cool. DJI O4 wide, mega thumbs up from me. I gotta get caught up on chat. I've been bullshitting too much. Mike K says, I sent a link in Discord. Is that the one you're talking about being from DJI? So we're good now. I've shown it. It's the one from Flywheel. We talked a ton about it. Uriel says, I'm doing chats from back at 10:12 right now. Euro says, can be almost cheaper, censor its main cost of camera. In reference to who's making it, maybe? P Money says, tag me but didn't say anything. Yuke says, got a reverse knife edge earlier on the backyard railing. Definitely bumped, but I can't believe I actually got it. Nice. Knife edges are the most fun. Uriel says, same shit over here. I wonder what we were talking about at 10:26 p.m. Jamie Flies FPV says, oh, hi, sweet. The 04 light wide fits. It does indeed. It fits perfect, too. I think I am still going to ask Ryan to extend the nose of this build just a little bit, just like maybe 2 or 3 millimeters. Because if he does that, then the 04 Pro camera will fit in this. I don't know how the hell you would do that. I mean, there are 20 by 20 mount holes on the top plate, so I guess you could hang it off the top plate and just run really high standoffs. I'm not gonna do it. For me, the 04 Pro belongs in one of these builds that's got a big fat ass, so you can put the 20 by 20, not the 20 by 20, but the big VTX in the back, and then a 20 by 20 stack in the middle. But I'm sure somebody will. I'm sure somebody will build this with an 04 Pro, and that'll be super cool. And yeah, I want the front end of this thing to be long enough for an 04 Pro. Of course, you can always design something to hang it off the front standoffs, right? Like, I'm dead set on running frames that just have front standoffs here that you run little camera loops off of, because it's infinitely adjustable and you can put any camera, anything on it. And so one of the other things you can do is just design a piece of TPU that sticks off the front. There's a bunch of them on Thingiverse already. There might be one that uses this exact width of these standoffs, because there's only so many different widths you can run up front. So there might already be one of those, but yeah, or somebody can design it. So yeah, it'll be neat to see this get built with different setups. But the 04 Lite wide fits in here absolutely perfect with it comes with this back plate, and then it comes with an extra back plate that instead of having 4 brass bastards here, it just has 1. And the plate itself here is much smaller. I believe it's 14 millimeter wide, because that's what the nano cameras are, and I believe this one is 19 or 20 millimeters wide, because that's the bolt pattern for 03 and 04 Pro. So yeah, the 14 millimeter wide housing makes this thing fit absolutely perfect. Like, look at that clearance in the back right here. The little gap, that's the clearance between the 25 by 25 stack and the camera, and that's the cable coming right off, and it's got just the right gap. It's this, like, if I took this top plate off and showed that to you, you'd be like, yeah, he designed the frame around that exact setup. Like, it's just like there's like a 1 millimeter gap in the exact right spot. It's just, oh, I'm so happy. I was pretty sure it wasn't gonna fit right, and I was gonna have to do some dumb stuff to get it to fit properly, and then I just like put it together with this combo. I was like, oh, okay, that's really, really nice. So yeah, excited about that. Drew Marquith says, do you have any RCN Power 1404 plus 3850 kV motors to try instead of those skinny boys? I do, but they are on the Siren F3, right there. And they're going to stay on there because they're kind of the perfect motors for it. Those are 1404 and a half. These Spinny Boy motors are 1405. These are too big, in my opinion. Those would also be too big. The 1404 4600T motors are going to be the way to go. They're going to be the best balanced motor for this. They're going to lighten this up even more. You might even be able to get this you'll definitely be able to get this under 200 grams, depending on the battery that you run on it with the T-Motor 1404s. there's no real reason to do that, but it is kind of cool to be able to say like it's a sub 200G rig, right? But yeah, this is a kind of a unique build, a unique frame. It's this is an old school frame design, right? This is like BQE Ripsqueak, Rotorius CB. Like this is like an old school frame design meant for a 20x20 ESC, a 20x20 flight controller, a tiny little VTX in the back, and a tiny little receiver in the back. I got it's super cool that the meta for micros now has become a 25x25 AIO and then 04 or walk snail on top. Like I kind of fell into that with this, and it's really cool because I don't know of any frames that are like this right now. And yeah, that's pretty cool. Capital C says DJI 04 Slim. That's not a bad name. Jamie's Files FPV says chill equals full throttle. LOL. Wide angle, rocksteady off. I think that's it. So we talked about that. And
missed one. Actually, there's two. Yeah, you're caught up. Not a whole lot of tags for you tonight. P Money at 2227 said, "Whoa, you called out asshole people in American culture, bro. You are so right. We're surrounded by nincompoop assholes in our country. Just ignorant and arrogant, stuck-up people here."
Nice.
And then also,
we got to call it out more, friends. Sorry, I don't love being political or mean or whatever, but sorry, man. With the shit that's going on, every single one of us have to call it out more. It's just the way it is. It's just the way it is. Go ahead, Kevin.
The other one is your dad was in chat wondering if the prop there that's bent bothering anybody else.
Oh yeah. The front one is fairly normal. This is a fairly normal failure. This rear one, this is the fun one. This does not happen very often, that you can bend it so that it's almost a straight line. This is a pretty rare hit to do that, because it's not really bent down that much. I can actually probably bend it back up and it'll still be like that, right? So it's like they're not really bent down very much, but like, whoo, you got to hit just right to do that, to push one of them like that. So yeah, these two, right, the motor 3 and 4 props, these are not salvageable. But yeah, I forgot to, I wanted to double check which propellers these are. These are the HQ, I think I guessed it right earlier, but just to make sure, yep, I did. T3 by 2.5 by 3. These are absolutely the best 3-inch propellers available for bigger motors. 1404, 1405, 1504, 1404.5. These are the best balanced and some of the most durable motors. It's hard to say, like, I'm sorry, not motor, prop. It's hard to say, like, this is the most durable propeller. No, you crash different from everybody else. There's no way to kind of call that. But if you look at these two propellers and you see how bent they are, that's what you want. You want propellers that will bend like this, because the option is that the blades break off. And when the blades break off, it's not really all that flyable. And so this is absolutely what you want, and this is a result of two really big hits. Like, I hammered this thing into the roof in order to do this. And so, yeah, these, again, HQT, like Thomas, 3 by 2.5 by 3. I don't think these propellers are easy to find in the US. I had to order them from TBS and get them shipped from China. If a lot of you are getting frustrated trying to find these propellers in stock, I might be willing to see if I can get in touch with HQ. They've never responded to me, but I don't know. I'll bet if I ask Joshua to make them fucking respond to me, he can work some magic. I might be willing to get 100 sets of them and sell them on the Etsy store, because there are not many good 3-inch props. There are some good low pitch 3-inch props, but there are not many. These are kind of the ones. Like these are way better than any of the other higher pitch 3-inch props. The GemFan 3052s are pretty good, but they're so pitchy. They're not like 52 pitch, but they're probably like a 40 pitch, which is a lot compared to a 25 pitch or 2.5 pitch. They're not actually 40 or 52. They're 4.0 or 5.2. But yeah.
Funny that you mentioned stock status for those, because I was literally just looking at them to try some on these rigs.
Is it Newbie Drone that sells them?
Newbie Drone has them in stock, not out of stock. They're in stock.
Awesome.
As does CiottiFPV and RDQ.
That's really annoying because I couldn't find these for the longest time. And
I have them now, so go buy them all
from TBS. Yeah. If you guys are going to be flying 3-inch,
buy all of them. Leave a couple packs for me.
Yeah, leave some for everybody else while we're still streaming. But yeah, these props are great. Get like 4 or 5 sets because they're going to make you fly really hard, and you are going to bang them up because, you know, we're getting towards like 5-inch levels of power to weight ratio, and so the props are going to get the shit kicked out of them. You know, like when you go out and fly a 5-inch rig hard, you'll go through like 5 to 10 props minimum. You probably won't go through that many on these, but you're going to start going through them. So don't just buy 1 pack. Buy, you know, at least 2, probably 3, 4, 5. Speaking of, I think I actually need to buy some more of these. I didn't know that these were going to be good. I bought maybe 2, maybe 3 sets to test them. And then when I tested them, they were the best balanced. And then I flew them and started crashing them. And I was like, yeah, okay, finally a good 3-inch prop. So, again, not that the GemFan 3052 is not good. It's just so pitchy that, like, it's crazy. It's just like it's just gone all the time. It just goes fast. And because it's so pitchy, it's a little bit heavier and yada yada yada. So yeah.
You also got to have a kind of a stanky motor to push those to their
indeed
their full potential.
A 1404 motor with those 3052s, like it is at its limit. It is like, okay, bro, like I can handle this, but like no more, please, no more.
Yeah, you really want like 1505 or even a 1605 or 1606 even.
Agreed. All right, friends, let's fly a couple of Tiny Whoop batteries. I have a few charged. You are going to fly 6 batteries today. If you haven't yet, you need to do it right now. It's only 11:20. Tiny Whoops are quiet. Get off your ass or stay on your ass, but plug some shit in and fly 6 batteries today. I know that you have not been flying 6 batteries a day. I can tell. You post your flight footage and I can tell that you haven't been flying 6. You're doing good. But I can tell. Fix it. Do it. Fly 6. 6 is the number. Every single day, or at least every single day that I live stream, for Christ's sakes. It'll take you 20 minutes. Do it. We are going to fly the Crazy G 473 Ultimate Freestyle Tiny Whoop. Newbie Drone Cockroach V3 frame. Tallest ducts, which make it nice and slow, which is what you want indoors for freestyle. Weebleed 0702 40,000 kV motors, which are what you want for lots of power, but also good efficiency. HQ 1.2 by 0.9 by 3 propellers, which are what you want for flying indoor. They're very lightweight. Their response time is fantastic, but they make just enough thrust. They're kind of fragile, but you're flying inside, so it doesn't matter when the prop blows up. You can just go get it. It's not unrecoverable on a rooftop somewhere. Mobula 6 old school upside down ball sack canopy. Super durable, not aerodynamic at all, which is what you want. You're flying straight, and then you turn to the side, and it's like hitting a brick wall. But that's what you want, because you want it to go this way. If you didn't want it to go this way, you would have kept flying like that, and it would have kept flying like that. Runcam Nano 3, which is super lightweight. This is a heavy canopy, so we run the lightest weight camera to offset the weight of that canopy. It's also the camera that's meant for this canopy. This is one of my ORT micro V antennas that's a very specific 46 millimeter length with a little bit of extra shrink wrap to make it a little more durable here. They're available on my Etsy store. Crazy G 473 AIO. I don't love this AIO, but I wanted to try it. It's held up really well. Also, there's a little BT 2.0 180 degree LED jib jab in the back here, which makes these things so much easier to find. And it's just cool looking for everyone but you, because you're in the goggles and you never get to see it. That is the ultimate freestyle tiny whoop. That is not the indestructible ultimate freestyle tiny whoop. That's a little bit of a different build. But yeah, this is the ultimate freestyle tiny whoop formula. Technically, this is not the right AIO, but this AIO has been holding up really, really well. Technically, the AIO to have is the 2G4, which has motor plugs, which I really like. The Crazy G473 is direct solder, so it's a little bit lighter, but it's not going to be as durable as the 2G4. I've been really impressed with it, though. This AIO has held up, and it's been just absolutely bulletproof so far. So, thumbs up to Happy Model. My transmitter's not on. That's not going to help. And the quad's probably going to go into Wi-Fi mode.
Happened to me yesterday.
Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. Connect, ELRS. Come on, you can do it. Yay! Here we go. Ooh, Jesus.
Gesundheit.
Interesting, sneezing while flying. Thank you. Here we go.
Ryan.
Go ahead, Kevin.
Ryan Sadat says, would you make an exception and rate a rig I just made and rate my rig, which he means roast a rig. Need a prop recommendation. And then he says, pretty please.
I think I'm going to do... I think I saw enough builds in the Rate My Rig Discord channel that I can do another live stream on either Wednesday or Friday. So I'll do a proper one if you put it in there on that live stream. But if you need a prop recommendation, I can always handle that.
I'm looking. So since the 19th, which was last week's, we have 1, 2...
Jesus. Oh no! God, that would have been so sick. Flying like a fucking
14.
racer tonight. What is happening? Woo.
14 entries in roast my rig right now.
14. Oh yeah, that's plenty.
Yeah. Ryan also said, my rig is the almost most powerful RCM Power 0702. There is a 35,500 kV. 35,500 kV.
Sorry. I almost hit Teddy in the face flying up the stairs as he was running down the stairs. I caught the first couple numbers, but hit me with that again.
Start over. Yeah. RCM Power 0702. There is a 33,500. Mine is on the 0702 31,800. Talking about
for motors that are that for motors that are that heinously powerful, I would absolutely go with the lowest pitch possible prop. Which would be these same props that I'm running here, the HQ 1.2 by 0.9 by 3s. Yeah. But it also kind of depends. That's more of like an indoor prop because it's a tri-blade. If you're going to fly it outside, I would do the bi-blades, the HQ bi-blades.
Yeah, he was thinking either HQ bi-blades or Gem Fan 2010s. He says new outdoor 65 mil.
Wait a second. Gemfan 2010, a 2-inch prop on a 702.
No. Sorry, 1210. That's my dyscalculia.
Okay, thank God.
1210.
The Gemfan 1210. As much as I loved that propeller back in the day when it was the only one, the only good one. Man, when you fly that propeller nowadays back to back with like the Gemfan 1219S's, the Gemfan 1207s, any of the HQ ultralights, it feels like shit. It's so heavy, like it's wild. It's nice that it's really durable. Don't get me wrong, but man, and it's really low pitch, so like you get this weird flight experience where you don't get great power, but then the prop is heavy, and so the response time kind of sucks too. So like with all the other props, all the other more current props, you get either or. You get either like really good response time or really good power. And like that makes sense. That's the way like sort of all of FPV is. It's weird to like have not good response time, but also not good power, but they're durable. And so, yeah, if you're going to crash them a lot, it's a great option. Oh, I went through the plant. That was gnarly.
I still have probably 10 sets of those 1210s floating around the house. Because I bought them in bulk and haven't needed to replace them that much.
Yeah, right. Like you only need to buy 2 sets of them ever.
I do chew them up every so often.
Right. I bought. Nobody can hear me because I'm across the room. I bought a bunch of them when they came out in We Bleed Red, and I've used like 1 set.
I always fly either black or clear props. I switched off of color props a while ago.
Clear props are always the move.
Yep.
Oh god. Oh god.
If you do get prop in view, it's far less noticeable when they're black or clear.
There he is.
Also, according to Mr. Jam Fan Mike, clear props are the most durable because there's no dye diluting the plastics.
Yep, plastic is clear. I would love to see that tested. I would love to see if it's like a 0.1% difference or like a 1% difference. Ooh, some of these propellers are a little banged up.
I Smoke Good 4207 says Amazon got the 04 wide for 200.
200. That's a bit much.
Everything's marked up. I saw the HQ 3x2.5x3 12 sets was $40 out of their mind.
Dude, I've seen
out of their absolute mind.
I've seen that on Amazon, like a set of props for like way too much money. Like who's buying these?
For anybody that's not doing the math, that's about a third more expensive than what you would pay going to any FPV shop.
Ridiculous. And you're not supporting an FPV shop. You're supporting a fucking asshole piece of shit that's going to encourage the destruction of the entire world. I mean, obviously Amazon, not all the money is going to him, but as someone who worked as a product manager for a couple of years for a company that wanted to start selling on Amazon, most companies sell on Amazon at a loss. I know that sounds insane, but it's fucking true, man. Like, we hired somebody that specifically just works with companies to get set up on Amazon, and he straight up told us most companies sell on Amazon at a loss because of you get so much marketing from people finding your product on Amazon and then going to your website that in the grand scheme of things, it ends up being worth it. Absolutely fucked. And Amazon knows that. And they leverage the shit out of that. I can't believe I just said that fucking word. I'm so sorry.
It's called the profit optimization curve.
Oh God, I want to vomit.
Actually, are you aware of Smarter Every Day?
Yeah. Love that guy.
He just put out a video about.
Dude, I've been dying to watch that. Yeah.
It's good. It is a stark indictment of American American approach to business.
Right.
And it's exactly, my dad was a maintenance mechanic and machinist by trade for basically the entire time that I was alive and can remember. He did telephone cable splicing back in the 80s, but and literally exactly what Destin talks about is what I saw with my dad's job in the 90s and 2000s when I was growing up, where they were, they were slowly dismantling American manufacturing.
Right.
And it was just watching that was like I was cheering the entire, like, I think it's a 50-minute long video or something the entire time. But yeah, he talked about how enshittification works. He wouldn't use the term on stream or on video, but yeah, he talked about profit optimization curves and supply and demand curves and how they fit together, and how you end up with products that kind of suck and also killing the American manufacturing industry.
Right.
It was fascinating. Super, super worth your time. Everybody should go watch it. If you haven't watched the first part, which he put out like a year ago, that is also worth your time.
Oh god, I'm stuck to the ceiling! I have air motor switch though.
Beaker says, I just watched it afterward. I felt like he had me for 50 plus minutes advertisement, but it was so worth watching. I mean, it's true. It's true. He's definitely advertising the product that he made, but like it's an important product. Like it's an important story about making a product in America.
Sure. Is it a new product or is it the grill scrubber?
It's the grill scrubber.
Yeah. But I mean, like, the process of making that product was the perfect, like, scenario for him to fucking learn all this stuff. I mean, it's just, it's the perfect storm. All right, we got one more battery on this guy. I fly 4. You fly 6. Yes, you. Here we go. Last one. I was trying to do a little backflip out of that cube and then back it up through the cube in the middle of the room, but I've got a little bit too much up tilt for that. I wanted to do it like with a tight power loop on there, but it doesn't quite work because those cubes are on the ground. If the cubes were hanging in the air, I'd have been fine. But with them on the ground, I can't quite back it up enough for anybody that was wondering why I just kept doing that little backflip in and out of that cube. Man, this thing is
Ryan's
rough right now. God.
Ryan says, I always just wait until I need props and make $100 to $200 HQ order from their website. They charge $40 FedEx, but here in a week.
$40? But the props are probably cheaper because you're getting them straight from China.
I'm going to look right now. I want to see.
Man, this thing is a mess right now. There's something going on with this quad.
T3 by 2.5 by 3.
So if you guys look on the right side of the screen, I've got my throttle value, 26, 25. Look at it. Ready? It's at 25. Look at it. See it bouncing up and down? This is a rig that is having some issues. If you put your throttle at a static value like this and it's moving up and down, you'll hear it. But this is a rig that's got too much vibration, probably from, it was fine when I started flying it, but I've had a couple pretty big hits here. So we've probably got some bent up props. We might have a banged up motor shaft. That's usually what happens.
Let's see. Comparison shopping those props right now. The HQ ones, the 3x2.5s. And they are $229 on hqprop.com and $229 on Newbie Drone.
No way.
So
wow.
With shipping to my house in North Carolina, I want to say they're shipping. Actually, here, let's click the checkout button.
Well, this battery did not last very long. What's happening here? Oh, no, I guess it did.
And $8 shipping to me, delivers Monday, August 3rd. Ooh. So there you go. That is next Monday. That is a week.
Newbie Drone all day. My God.
And hey Ryan, they're in SoCal, so they'll be even faster to get to you in the Bay Area.
Yeah, they'll be there in a day.
Probably a day or two, yeah. Let's see. What else? Ryan also says, my package with new meteors and O4 wide arrived.
Nice. Hell yeah.
I call those presents from my past self.
Teddy, stop it! I think I threw a propeller or something's going on. It is not happy. Or maybe I just found... Oh, the antenna went down into the propeller. That hasn't happened yet. Cool. I'm going to stop there. That battery is pretty much done. And this goggle battery is done. So that's a good time to stop. What else we got? What else are we doing? Somebody asked some questions.
Ryan also says, anything you guys want to know, presumably about that rig. By the way, I can confirm the new RCM power motors no longer have undersized shafts.
Oh, nice. That is really good news, because that was very annoying about the 29,000s and the 27,000s. Because they were also very fragile. Like those motor shafts would bend easier than kind of like any of the others, to be honest. So this quad is freaking out. Hopefully you guys could hear it. You could definitely see it. I put the throttle at a static 25%, and the thing went. Something's going on. First thing to do is to take the props. Well, no. First thing to do is to put it into turtle mode. I shouldn't have taken the battery out. I think this battery's got a little bit of life left in it. I did this when Kevin was talking, but I'm going to walk you all through it. So when you've got a rig that's getting unruly, that's getting upset, it once was fine. You start crashing it, you fly it, and now it's starting to not sound so smooth anymore. You flip it into turtle mode. You hold it if it's small enough and safe enough. If it's a big open prop fucker, you don't hold it like this. You take the propellers off, and then you can do this same test. But on small stuff or prop guarded stuff, you can hold them when you do this. You flip it into turtle mode, you arm it. You don't go full stick. Stop going full stick in turtle mode. That's what blows up ESCs. You just super gentle. All of the vibrations that are happening at 25% throttle, most of the vibrations that make these things freak out are low in the RPM. So you just need to be gentle, and you spin one propeller up at a time. And you feel it with your hands. How hard is it vibrating? 1, 2, 3, 4. And you're trying to feel if one of them is vibrating more than the other ones. Sometimes it'll be both fronts that are vibrating harder than both rears. That's normal. When you crash, normally you crash into the front. If you can feel that one or two of these are vibrating harder than the rest, you replace those props. There's a 50% chance that'll fix your problem. The other 50% is that the motor shafts are bent. In my case here, they all, the fronts are a little bit more banged up, but I actually don't think the problem is the the propellers. But the first step should here be now me swapping out these front two propellers. I'm gonna keep going. Let's say that they all feel similar. There's not one that's vibrating harder than the rest. The next place that I'll usually go, because when you do that, you are kind of testing both the balance of the propellers and the balance of the motor, i.e. is the motor shaft bent or not? And so they all feel relatively even. So my next step, the way that I explain this is outside in. Anybody that watched Silicon Valley, the HBO show, they talk about middle out. Their compression is middle out. The way that we want to troubleshoot these is outside in. The most outside thing are the motors and the propellers. That's what most commonly fails. That's what takes the biggest beating, and so we check those first. Swap out the front propellers. If the situation doesn't get better, take all the propellers off, hook this up to beta flight, go into the motors tab. You could do this in turtle mode, but it's easier at this point to do it in the motors tab. And you spin each motor up in the motors tab on the little sliders really slow. As slow as the motor will spin with no prop on it. So the motor is sitting here spinning as slow as possible with no prop on it. And you're going to take your fingernail and you're going to put it next to the motor shaft. And if this motor shaft is bent, it's going to hit your fingernail every time it comes around. You do that with each one of the motors. And maybe you can find one motor that's more banged up than the rest. In my case, all 4 of these seem pretty even. And so I'm going to go from outside in. I checked the outside. Now I'm going to go in. The next thing in is the frame itself. And the way I check these tiny whoop frames is I just go thumbs on the bottom, index finger on the top, and I just flex them, or vice versa. And I just flex them like this. And when I do that, this motor goes ham because this frame has broken right there. Where is it? There it is. So one of the supports in this frame. This is actually the first time with one of these Cockroach V3s that I've broken it here. I think I've only ever broken one of these frames, to be honest. But yeah, there you go. Outside in. The next plate. If these were all solid, if this frame wasn't broken right now, I would pull the propellers off and I would spin the motors up because that's just so often the issue with these 1mm motor shafts. If all the motors were fine, I would then keep going in and I would look at the AIO and see if the AIO is mounted properly, make sure the grommets aren't like cut or sliced or anything weird, make sure that nothing is pushing into the AIO, right? Like if you have your ELRS antenna here, like right above the AIO, it can sit there and vibrate against it and cause havoc. You got to get that antenna up away from the AIO. Hopefully you want to E6000 it to the canopy somewhere, or at least wrap it around the canopy so there's no chance that it's sitting in there vibrating. In some cases, even if that antenna is just vibrating, that's going to shake everything that it's connected to, which is the AIO, which has the gyro on it. So you want your ELRS antenna like kind of pushed up against something or glued to something. Same thing with the video antenna, but it's much less of an issue because it's a lot heavier, so it'll vibrate. It's just not typically an issue, but and then that's kind of everything. At that point, just throw it in the goddamn river. But at that point, you'll have found the problem because that's where pretty much all the problems are. So yeah, I need to throw this into a new frame. I might do a clear frame, although I think this is my only black frame Ultimate Freestyle Tiny Whoop, so I'll probably stick with the black frame. But yeah, there you go. These Cockroach V3 frames are not indestructible. This one has had a life for sure. This one's relatively beat up. There's a lot of scuffs on the inside of the ducts from the propellers constantly bashing into it. You can see it over there pretty good. So yeah, that's how you troubleshoot pretty much all of FPV, to be honest. All of FPV is going to blow up propellers the most often, motors the second most often, arms the third most often, and then everything in the middle is pretty rare that you're going to actually break. But yeah, outside in, friends. That's how you want to troubleshoot. I stole that from Mighty Car Mods. Yes. Go subscribe to their channel. They're the best, the absolute best. My 3S AIOs have arrived. I found an eBay seller who is selling these JHEMCU GHF 435 AIO V2, which are 20 amp 2 to 4S. I found an eBay seller selling 2 of them for the equivalent of like, I think it was like 58 bucks each, which is really cheap for an AIO in general, and specifically for these AIOs. I didn't necessarily want to buy 2 of them, but it was just a good deal. And like, as we know, AIOs don't last forever, and so I'm kind of glad I was forced to buy 2 of these. These are, well, this is for the Caillou Mini. The Caillou Mini is going to be going back onto the RC & Power 1204 8000 kV motors. I'm also going to run it again on these T-Motor 1203. I think they're also 8,000. They're actually 7,000 RPM kV motors. And I might have one more set of lower kV motors. I got to dig through the little stash. But yeah, Caillou Mini is going 3S because 2.5-inch props, when you put a motor combo and prop combo that makes a bunch of power, you get to the limits of 2S. And the 2S batteries start to get really hot if you're running like a 2S 450 mAh battery, which is the biggest battery that fits in the Caillou Mini top plate. And so if you're in a scenario where for some reason you can't put a higher milliamp hour battery, going up in voltage is a potential solution to that problem. If the Caillou Mini top plate was longer, I would just go to a 550 or even a 650 mAh 2S battery, and that bigger battery is a bigger heat sink, and so it's not going to get as hot. Also, the more milliamp hours the battery has, the less the battery is going to sag all through the life of the battery, from fully charged to 3.5%. But the Caillou Mini top plate is kind of short. And so 450 is the longest battery that fits on there properly. And so what I've done is I'm going from a 2S 450 to a 3S 450. I'm also going to try it, and I really hope it runs well, on a 3S 380. When you go from a 2S 450 to a 3S 450, you are adding a third 450 mAh pouch to that battery. So that battery now has 50% more total milliamp hours. And so it's going to run potentially 50% longer. I don't need that. The Caillou Mini is already running like 3+ minutes of runtime. So I'm hoping that the 380 mAh 3S battery, which is each pouch is smaller with less milliamps in it, I'm hoping that that battery is not going to sag, and because that total amount of milliamp hours is going to give me the runtime that I want, which is like 3 minutes, but it's also going to keep the weight as low as possible on that. On this, these itty bitty little AIO only frames really need to be lightweight. These little arms will not withstand the abuse of like 150, 160, 170 grams all up weight. So hopefully I can keep this down to around like 120 or so. Seems to be the sweet spot for not just this, but like any of these really, really lightweight little frames that are perfect for blasting around the neighborhood and nobody knowing about it, right? As they get heavier, we put bigger motors, higher pitch props, and they start making more and more and more and more noise. The point, in my opinion, of these little guys is to be whisper quiet, totally safe, fly them anywhere and everywhere, dive all the buildings in your closest city. Nobody will care. Nobody will know. You'll have a blast. Now that we've got 04 light, wide, narrow, whatever the hell you got, you can get great footage, and it's just super fun. So yeah, Wednesday, I don't know if I'll be able to wait until Wednesday to build this into here. You guys have seen me do enough builds where, and like with these AIO builds, it's just like, all right, let me solder on the battery leads and we're done. So there's not a whole lot to it, although I guess I'm going to have to solder the motors up on this as well. But yeah, I probably won't be able to wait to do this. And so by Whoop Wednesday, this will probably be built, and hopefully I'll have some flight footage. I'll definitely have some flight footage from this guy because I'm dying to fly this tomorrow. But yeah, that's what's coming on Wednesday. Be here or be square. You don't want to be square, do you? What you got, Kevin?
Double Jose's in the chat.
Who?
Double Jose.
Double Oz is, if you guys aren't subscribed to Double Oz, go. He's doing some cool stuff over on his channel. I've watched a few of his videos, and I always love people who talk to the camera that like watch these live streams, because like I don't know how else to say this, and I'm gonna sound like an asshole, but like whatever, they know their shit. Like how could you not? Like if you can stand listening to me talk for a couple of live streams, you're gonna learn a lot. And so yeah, I always dig when one of his videos comes across my my recommendeds, because he's getting good at flying, and he's flying some good builds, and he just seems like a really cool dude, and we need more people like that. So Double Oz, keep it up, man. You're doing great. I hope you get a bunch of fresh people over there from me mentioning it, who comment and share the love, and yeah, let's keep building this little community of fucking freaks and mutants that we are, because, you know, it's been going fine. It's been very fun so far. JHEMCU, following Speedy B's lead and including a practice soldering board in with their AIOs. This right here is expensive. This probably costs them like $1 or $2 to include this. But I'll bet you, I will bet you, that the number of people that use this get a little bit better at soldering, and then don't fuck the board up, and then email them and go, "You fucking jerk-offs, you sold me a piece of shit board. I soldered it with my eyes closed, shaking like a leaf, and it caught on fire. Why do you make such garbage, you anuses?" I would love to see data on that. I would love to see, like, we sold this board with a practice soldering pad, and the customer service calls were cut in half. I'm willing to bet that is the case. Speedy B is the first one that I ever saw include one of these. You've always been able to buy these. These practice soldering boards have been available forever, and they're really, really nice. I fucking wish that I'd had one of these early days of learning to solder. Yeah, these are a really good idea. I don't care how much you've been soldering. If you get one of these, use it. Sit here, try some weird method. If you're good at soldering already, try some weird method on this. Use this. I put these into giveaways. But yeah, these are very, very cool. Don't throw these away. Save them, give them to friends. For the love of God, save these for the new person that you get into this hobby, because holy shit, soldering is like one of the most awful parts of the first year in FPV. And so, yeah, hold on to these, friends. These are gold. And props to you, JHEMCU, for throwing this in. This is yeah, really, really, really good idea. What else do we have here? They've got the red grommets. They are giving you a set of pH 2.0 plugs, the straight ones. I wish they included the 90-degree ones, but nobody does. An XT30 itty-bitty capacitor. I think this is one of the good capacitors. It looks like a Raycon. It is not a Raycon. This is a... You can't make this shit up. This is a Chong-X capacitor. Hold on, I know that's what it said, but yep, nope, there it is.
Where's the Cheech Y?
Where's the Cheech X
to go with it?
Chong-X. Let's see if the Chong-X is one of the good ones or one of the bad ones. If you didn't know, Chris Rosser did an excellent little video on capacitors. So if I search for Chris Rosser capacitor, capacitors in the FPV world need to be fast. Let's just say low ESR, I guess is
low
the real...
ESR, yeah.
But like fast, just.
Hi there, everyone, and welcome back to the channel.
It's not just low ESR. It's not. Here we go. Gesundheit.
Whew.
There we go.
There it is. Is there some other? I thought it was mainly just the ESR.
No, Rosser goes into it in
Oh,
his
the
most recent
legs.
capacitor video. It's like it's
Just
not
watch
just low
this, guys.
ESR. Yeah, everybody just needs to take this video and go put it up right after this. You can fall asleep to it and then watch it again tomorrow.
Link is in the chat.
I haven't even absorbed all the information that is in here.
Yeah, I think I watched the second half of it, but I got to go back to the first half. I think I might have like sped through the first half. I remember the legs. The legs were melting on some of them. I was like, holy shit.
Yeah.
But towards the end here, he breaks down the brands, and I think this is the most important. Like, the whole video is great, but this is, I think, the most important part. Here, let me slide this over a little bit. And so he goes into the brands that you want to green for good. The rest of these brands stay the hell away from him. So let's see if ChongX is on here.
ChongX is on here.
Ah, they are. Brands to avoid. Do not buy or use. So the Raycon is good. I'm sorry, not Raycon. Rubicon. Raycon. Jesus Christ. Rubicon, not Raycon. Rubicon and Panasonic. These are the most common ones, thank God. And so, like, most of the time, it's going to be Rubicon or Panasonic, and you'll be totally fine. But if you ever get a capacitor and it's not Panasonic or Rubicon, look it up on Chris's video. And then there's brands to avoid, and then there's, like, isn't there, like, the worst brands ever in the end? No.
Oh, that was it. It was the do not buy or use.
Yeah, so ChongX, so JHEMCU is including useless capacitors.
Yeah, just immediately, like, probably just throw those in the trash, which is sad.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, thanks for shipping me e-waste. But also, it should be an indicator to you. What type of capacitor they're putting in tells you what kind of components they're also putting on their boards.
This is true. Unfortunately, this is true. I guess the flip side of that is this is not common knowledge. And so, like, you know, for a manufacturer to just be like, we need the capacitor that's this size, and you just get that one, and it's like, I can kind of maybe see it. But, yeah, I mean, JHEMCU is not the top. They're not the worst. They're definitely not the worst, but they're not the best. And so it kind of doesn't surprise me that ChongX is not one of the good ones, and that's what happened to come in here. If this was an Acon AIO, guarantee you it would have a Panasonic or a Rubicon.
I'm not deep into electronics that much, and one of the things is when you buy capacitors, like if you're at all into electronics, if you buy capacitors, you buy a name brand. You don't just buy whatever random Temu.
Yeah, and they don't cost anything, so like, why wouldn't you? Right? Like, they're so inexpensive. So this little case here, I've never bought a capacitor. This is capacitors that have come with every single bit of FPV electronics that I've bought in the last 10 years. And these are like all Rubicon and Panasonic. And so, like in fairness, I tend to buy better electronics because they last orders of magnitude longer. So, like, yeah, you spend $20 more on the Acon ESC versus the fucking Bing Bong ESC, but the Acon ESC will literally last twice as long as the Bing Bong ESC, and that's $20 well spent, right? And so, yeah, most of the capacitors that you're gonna get with FPV stuff are gonna be the good ones, but you gotta check them because ChongX is bad. The green ones I'm usually very suspect of. The green ones I don't usually use, and here's another ChongX in the garbage with it. But yeah, the Rubicons are usually black and gray. Is this a Rubicon? It is indeed. And then the Panasonics are either black and gray or golden black. Here's one. This is the golden black. This should be a Panasonic.
There's also a series printed on the side of that, and that's the other thing to check. It's usually like FR. Really? It'll be 2 letters typically, 2 or 3 letters.
CEFM on this one.
Say again.
This does not say Panasonic. Sometimes they're so short that, like, the wrapping would have
Chasing
said
that
Panasonic here or over here, but I'm 99% sure that the black and golds are pretty much always Panasonic. Here's another black and gold. God damn it. Doesn't say on it. It's the same kind of deal. It's not, the wrap is not in the right spot.
I could have sworn those Panasonics actually said on the wrapper Panasonic written across the top. So those might be lookalikes.
Yeah, this is now 3 of these black and golds in a row that don't say Panasonic on them. I used to get the 1000 UF that we always put in our 5-inch rigs. They would always say Panasonic, and they were always black and gold. But none of these. I don't have any 1000s in here.
No, I'm sorry. I'm thinking of the Rubicons. They're the ones that always have it printed. The Panasonics may not have it printed on the caps, which is deeply frustrating.
Right. Does he have a picture?
Put your name on there. You're already printing it. Yeah, Jamie Flies also says, and this is important, there are a lot of fake Rubicons out there.
Oh God, that's a nightmare. In the Panasonic section here, Chris Rosser is showing black and gold. So yeah, the black and golds are sometimes Panasonic. But yeah, you got to check these, man. This sucks.
The Ghoul says, learn the hard way trying to use a Chong-X in my first couple of builds.
Really? Oh my God.
Yeah.
See, this is why I don't use capacitors anymore.
Jamie Flies also
all
says,
either fake or bullshit.
All real Rubicons are made in Japan. Yeah, that's a problem with 18650 cells as well. There is one company that makes 18650s that everybody loves. I think they're the Panasonic cells. If you buy them loose, they're almost certainly fake. And there's ways to tell the fake ones from the real ones. There's an entire, I think it's mostly the like flashlight and prepper communities that are hunting for bad 18650 cells, because they you'll be charging them and they just light off, or they hold a third of the capacity or whatever.
Awesome.
Molly Cell, I think, does single unit cells, but yeah, Panasonic is like, we're only going to ship you batteries that are built into large packs.
I mean, you do you, fellas. Hey, Jamie, do you happen to know how to tell fake Rubicons? Does Chris talk about it, I wonder? Yeah, black and gray is usually your best bet. Look for it to hopefully say Rubicon. I've got 3 of these black and golds here that do not say Panasonic on them, and I'm not going to trust them. I'm going to get rid of them because capacitors are super cheap.
Jamie says they spell it wrong. That is a good indicator that somebody's pumping out some fakes.
All right,
Make sure that they don't spell Ruby with an I. Or they say made in China. If they say made in China,
box of these. Let me see if I can find one. Oh, that's too good. Hold on.
What a fun adventure.
Yep. RUBYCO. Oh, wait. Is that an N? Oh, no. It should be an N. It's Rubicon, not Rubicom.
It's Rubicon.
Oh,
yeah.
I guarantee you that's another way that they misspell it. Rubicom. All right, now those 2 are good. Oh, come on. Please let me find one. Rubicon. No. I'm not going to do this for very long. If you're bored, just give me a couple more seconds. Hold on.
You buy them from actual electronic suppliers like Mouser or DigiKey, I think because they actually order them from the actual manufacturers, you're much more likely to get real ones. The ones from FPV manufacturers, they're usually buying them second, third, fourth hand, and so who the hell knows what you're getting.
Damn it, dude. Come on, please, please. Damn it, these are all good.
Jamie does say, I've got some presumably fakes, and I think they spilled it right though. So that's not a guarantee.
Yeah.
That's like a clear indicator that it's fake.
Right.
Jamie Fly says the Amazon ones are a fake.
Damn. I was so thinking that I would pull like 3 of these and the third one would be Rubicon.
So do you remember when like Dell and Lenovo and HP and Nvidia were all recalling laptops and motherboards and stuff in like 2006.
Oh God, no.
You don't remember this? Okay. So there
No.
was a huge recall on graphics cards and all kinds of electronics. And it was because these like very low level component manufacturers, they one of them had not put the electrolyte solution, the sufficient amount of
And the
electrolyte solution
capacitors.
in the capacitors. And so they were popping and the components would just stop working. And so there's a bunch of
Awesome.
graphics cards and computers from that era that it's like, oh yeah, immediately you get to replace all the capacitors on them if you find them.
What great fun.
Yeah.
I did just find one that the font looks a little bit different. But it's a
called
50 volt capacitor. Yeah. Which is like extra suspects. Like, ooh, that's extra a 50 volt and the font looks a little weird. I don't know about that one. No, these are all spelled right. That sucks. Oh well.
I got some fakies downstairs. I know. They're not fake. They're just cheap bulk capacitors that I got off of Amazon before I knew what to look for.
Right. Damn, I checked a lot of these too. Oh well. Well, again, all of these have come from FPV components, and so I don't know. Maybe these FPV shops are savvy enough to, or I mean, I don't know. Maybe they're all getting them directly from the right company. You would hope, but hey, we tried. Capital C is totally digging this live stream. Love it. Thanks for hanging. Ryan says 3 batteries on these new RC Power 702 Evos. I think I've found my favorite non-indestructible motor. Very efficient, very powerful. Such a shame they are only 1mm shaft. And then I think we're caught up on the chat. Anything else you can think of?
Yeah, there were a few more.
Oh, sweet.
Alexor90 needs some help. I'm trying to flash Express LRS firmware on my Seeker 3, but I can't find the correct target. The receiver is generic ESP8285PA. Tried other brands. Do you know how to fix the Ciotti?
What's the component that's getting put on?
On a Seeker 3, which
so we got to look up that AIO, because there's probably not going to be a specific Seeker 3. So this is a really good question. Because with ELRS, it's not like Betaflight where it's going to auto-detect the target. You have to tell it what the target is. And so the first thing you need to do is look up what flight control, either what AIO or what receiver you have. And then in the specs for that receiver or AIO, it's going to tell you what the specific target is. And so you got to go to either the manufacturer page or the reseller page, and I'll do like a command F for find text on the page, and I'll just search for ELRS, and it'll show me everywhere it says ELRS, and somewhere on there, it'll tell you that specific target, and you need to use that exact target in the ELRS web flasher. That's probably what's throwing them off here.
Looking, I did see the Seeker earlier. Here it is. It's the Deep Space Express LRS Nano PA 100. So
what was it? The Seeker what? I want to show it on the stream.
It's the Seeker 3, the Deep Space Seeker 3. Here, I'll see. All right.
So we look up Seeker 3. We go to the actual bind and fly page. And like maybe it's called out on here. Probably not. Well, maybe. ELRS. It found nothing because they did everything in images, which is stupid. But if we look in here, flight controller, Aether, DJI, no. Yeah, see, this is a shitty product page. Most companies have better product pages than this. Look here just real quick. Okay, so nothing. So since they didn't specifically call out which version it is here. We got to figure out what the AIO is that's in this thing. And so
Not an
we're
AIO.
going to scroll down. And
It's not an AIO. It's a stack.
In here. Oh, it's a stack. Awesome.
Yep. If you look at the pictures.
Now we've got a situation where there's an external receiver. And so we got to figure out what that external receiver is.
Deep Space makes a stack, only one, and also makes a receiver, only one, which is
so it's probably
rather helpful. Yes.
This is insane that they don't call out the receiver here. This is what a bad product page looks like, my friends. This is
Deep Space is a very new FPV company. Like, they were just founded within like the last 6 months or a year or something. Like, they're very new. But from FPV component manufacturer veterans, so
yeah, they know better.
They should.
They know better. Okay, so here we go. Receiver. They don't give us a lot of information, but they give us a little something. ELRS 2.4 or TBS. Oh my god, that's just worthless. So at this point. Yeah, so at this point, as somebody that's been in the hobby for less than a year, you're doomed. But luckily, you stumbled across me. And so at this point, we're going to go into electronics. We're going to go into receiver antenna, I guess. I don't want just the antenna.
Yeah, it's their receiver and antenna. It's welcome to not English speaking.
Yeah. So here we are. This is the receiver. And so now we're going to scroll down and we're going to look for the target. And there it is. So here's the target. Deep Space 2.4 gig nano 100 milliwatt RX. So this right here, and I can't highlight it because it's an image because just do everything wrong all at once. But this here is what you need to use for the target in the ELRS web flasher. And away you shall go. That'll fix your problems.
So
that is a very common
2 things.
Issue.
Yeah, one, it is available in both major version 3 and major version 4, so you don't need to worry about reflashing your transmitter to match. And then the other thing is the receiver model is generic ESP8, blah blah blah. What that means is that they probably are using a development target to flash on the receivers that are coming out of the factory. So they're using the DIY targets instead of using the board specific target. And that's fine. You can actually do that as well. But you can then, if you know the actual target, which you do now, you can actually go in the ExpressLRS configurator when you're downloading to Flash and put that exact thing on it. That way you also know in the future, like, what receiver do I have in this build? And you can actually look in the UI and know exactly which receiver you put in that build.
Yeah, good call. Yeah, sometimes you'll go in there, you'll go into the ELRS web flasher, and there'll be like a generic 2.4 ELRS receiver target. If there's only that one, that's obviously like the generic one, you're usually pretty okay. You should still follow this and just make sure if there's more than one target in there, because flashing the wrong target could brick it. Usually it won't, but it could. Yeah, ELRS is so much better than it ever was, but it is still a little iffy every once in a while, especially with how many different ELRS receivers are being made now. So it's sometimes a little bit confusing. Trust Joshua and I, and we'll always get you on the right track. That's all I can really say. I don't really know of any other super trustworthy resources for like technical stuff like that. Unfortunately, I'm sure there are a bunch, but yeah, careful with Facebook groups and Reddit, because there's a lot of people that don't know what they're talking about and don't care, and so they'll just tell you whatever the hell they want. Anything else, Kevin?
There's a few chats that got stacked up.
Where are we at?
I'm gonna run through
off axis. Off axis
Yeah.
says any word in your package yet? Not yet. Capital C says I'm putting that exact same components Max M25 that you're using in your Caillou. Awesome. I just paid my Max invoice. I've got 2 Max M2s coming with the carbon fiber rotated 45 degrees, and he's throwing in the M25, which should be very fun. And then Metalcraft says, do you fly 2S at all or just 1S? I fly 2S more than 1S, actually. But like, well, I shouldn't say that. I fly 2S. I almost fly only 2S outside. I also fly 4S and 6S, but and then 1S inside, which in my opinion is how it should be. 1S is for flying inside the house. 2S is for flying outside the house. Can you fly a 1S rig outside the house? Yes, but you're going to get mangled by the wind, and it's just silly. You're sacrificing both power and efficiency. 2S will literally give you more power and more efficiency. There are no downsides. You can get 2S batteries that weigh exactly what the 1S batteries weigh, and yeah, you get more power and efficiency. I flew 3S 8 or 9 years ago, a little bit. And then moved away from it, and now with this Caillou, I'm diving back into 3S. I have some 3S batteries that are 10 years old. I'm super curious if how they'll be. But yeah, I only fly 1S inside the house. Outside the house, pretty much everything else at work. It's mainly like 4S, Cinewhoop kind of stuff. Every once in a while, 6S. But yeah, 1S is for inside the house only. Fight me! I miss anything?
Ryan asking, either of you ever think about making a how fast can I go build in a category? Tiny whoop, 3-inch, 5-inch, etc.
A big no for me. That's not fun for me.
Yeah. Speed tests are like, cool, I went fast. Now what?
Right. Yeah, and like you gotta put a GPS on there, and like I still haven't done that. The whole GPS thing is I don't know. I just don't want to do it.
There's like an arms race right now amongst who can get the fastest FPV quad time. And like, these are guys that are like, they're smarter than me. And I know when I'm playing in the kiddie pool and they're friggin' swimming the English Channel. Like,
it's also really expensive to do what those guys are doing.
It is.
They are blowing up a fuckload of motors and ESCs, and these aren't the cheap motors and ESCs. They're blowing up $30-$40 motors and like $100+ $200+ ESCs. They're out of their minds.
Imagine
God, yeah.
spending every run, you destroy the battery on a run.
It's brutal. Yeah, they sag a fresh battery down to like 3.2 volts on the first hit. Like, oh god, and they leave it there. Like, holy shit.
I think there was some video that Vanover was in. It was probably a Rotorite video like 3 or 4 years ago, where they were testing like something like full throttle the entire battery. And it's like, yeah, the thing comes down and the battery is just poofed all to hell. Right. You're not flying that battery again. Sometimes they spontaneously combust, which is also really fun. So use a good battery, which, oh, by the way, is also going to be like $50 a pack. So congratulations, every run that you want to try.
And like, God forbid you crash the thing at 250 miles an hour and it catches on fire. Good, it's all gone. It's all gone. Start from scratch. Yeah, not for me. Not for me. Daytona Jim with a $4.99 super chat right at the wire. Built the M25 with Gamma, whoa, big ESC. Gamma 45, HGLRC 1303.5, 3S 580 lava, and absolutely love that thing. Wow, that's a heavy build. That's a big, heavy ESC. Well, AIO, I should say. And those are big motors. That's a big M2. Jesus. Or M2.5 rather. Very cool. That thing's got a blast because it's gonna be light. That's a lightweight build with a ton of power. Very cool, man. All right, friends, I'm out of here. It's late. It's 12:20. Be good. I'll catch you on Whoop Wednesday. I will have possibly the Caillou Mini put back together. I will definitely have some proper flight footage of this with it set in wide so that we can actually run it through GyroFlow. Yeah, we might do a Rate My Rig Wednesday. We might wait till Friday. I'll probably wait till Friday because I'll be all hopped up on goofballs with this thing and with that thing. So Rate My Rig on Friday. There's already probably enough in there. Don't like run and put your stuff. I might not even get to it. But yeah, for patrons, for $3 whole a month, you have access to my full Discord. There's a Discord channel in the Patreon section called Roast My Rig. I keep forgetting the name of it. You put pictures, video if you'd like, and a breakdown of the specs of your rig. And I'll tell you what I like about it, tell you what I don't like about it, and you'll learn a lot. I did Volume 1, Volume 2 live streams of this, and everybody absolutely loved it. It's cool to get your stuff shown. It gives you a lot of good ideas, and it gives everybody else a lot of ideas. You know, I talk about my builds as often as I possibly can, but people build differently, and I can't possibly buy all the stuff. So there's always going to be like a motor or a component in there that I haven't seen before that we can dive into and talk about. I also definitely encourage you guys to put any durability info that you've got in there. This is the third one of these AIOs that I've run. I'm tired of them, but I just wanted to give them one more shot or whatever. I've put 10,000 crashes into this thing and it's totally fine. That's gold, that kind of stuff. So yeah, there you go, people. Thank you for joining me as always, Kevin.
You are welcome.
I'll see you all on Wednesday. Be good, friends. Here comes the battery from this guy that I played at the beginning of the live stream with the DJI 04 wide in normal. This isn't even in wide. Well, I'll have some wide footage for you on Wednesday. Be good, people. Again, this build is like 210 grams all up weight. Big ass motors, 1405 motors, 4800 kV, lots of kV. HQ 3T 3x2.5x3 propellers, big power setup on my Stankalottapuss frame. Love you, bye!
Yeah. Out in the yard where the grass grows wild, CiottiFPV's goggles locked, grinning like a child. Teddy Spaghetti's fur flies and jet wash dreams. Yeah. Chasing small whoops like a dog possessed fiend. Eyes on a neon blur, hard in the chase. Bit fuzz and prop spin all tangled in place. Yeah. Four-legged rebel with a rotor stir tail in the circus of the sky. They never fail. CiottiFPV, Teddy Spaghetti, dynamic duo kings, barking at the breeze, throttling at top speed, they zooming through hoops, flipping in style. That schnauzer's got throttle and a toothy smile. Yeah. Shotties on sticks, Teddy's on paws, side by side legends breaking all the laws. Through the kitchen over couch scale terrain, backyard mayhem in their flight domain. No ground too sacred, no loop too tight. Fuzz fuel fury ignites the night. When pilot and pup lock eyes on the prize, every whoop they conquer is a fresh cut surprise. Yeah. Yo, Shotty behind the sticks, Teddy's leading the pack. Prop guard missiles unleashed, never looking back. No leash, no map, just freestyle Mike. They on the dog drone streets every day and night. Said whoops, hitting low, gotta nail the dive. Teddy push throttle up, feel the beast come alive. I see the neon arc, got the sticks locked in, Teddy. Yeah, let's rip this loop, ride the roar of the wind, Teddy. Yep. Yeah, CiottiFPV, Teddy Spaghetti, diamond and duo kings, barking at the breeze, throttling at top speed, zooming through hoops, flipping in style. That schnauzer's got throttle and a toothy smile. Teddy Spaghetti, Teddy and duo kings, face legends, legends sing it loud. Yeah, Teddy, Spaghetti, and CiottiFPV always proud.